What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Minthunter Comics, and I was already having an awesome day, but I gotta tell you, getting a custom statue that you've waited 2 years for is the perfect cherry on top. What's going on, my friends? Yeah, this is a big one. I think it's been a full year, pretty much, since I've gotten a custom statue in. Since I only collect DC 1/4 scale pieces, everybody makes Marvel statues, so it's kind of hard to get some good DC ones. So when one does come, I swing for it. Unlike Sideshow or Prime 1 or XM statues, you're not waiting like 6 months to a year, you might be waiting like 2, 3, 4 years. This one wasn't the craziest wait. I know I've got ones that are certainly a lot longer than this one. With customs, you kind of buy them, then forget about them, and then they show up and totally make your day. And that definitely happened here. So guys, we're going to dive in. We're going to do an old-fashioned Minthunter Comics review of this bad boy with my 10-point system. We're going to go over what works and what doesn't. I always start my statue reviews with a Where's the Beef section, which I talk about the issues I have up front. My biggest issue is, mainly, I think that this hand, the actual hand, is a little small in comparison to the other switch-out hands. I think that the crowbar could have been used with a bit of a better material, which would have made it sit a little bit better straight. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty good. So let's dive in. Let's start it off with the base. Yeah, it may be another gargoyle base, but this one is a bit different. It's got some nice blues in there, and it's solid as a frickin' rock. All the designs and grooves and folds in the gargoyle look very realistic. It looks like a very realistic nighttime setting over concrete. I think it's really amazing how well they did that. I like that it's not just gray, it's got some blues in there to kind of give it a little more atmospheric effect, and it definitely works. I'm going to go ahead and give it a solid 8 out of 10. Let's get into the paint, the sculpt, and the colors on this one. I'm going to let you guys know right off the bat, this is a custom company in which I've got, I think, 8 or 9 different pre-orders coming in. This is actually the first one that's arrived, which is interesting because it's one that I got much later. But I guess some things take priority and some don't. And I can tell you, if I'm judging these just off of this piece, I'm really happy that I've got a lot plugged in with this custom company. Because the paint and the sculpt, it's there. They really did a good job. They didn't cut corners. It almost honestly looks like a prototype to me. They really went balls out. I mean, the pants look like an actual pants. The knee pads look like actual knee pads, like a metal kind of warrior suit over the fabric. As someone who used to study art, the grooves and folds in the pants are fantastic. It's some of the better grooves and folds that I've ever seen that aren't an actual mixed media. So I'm very impressed with the pants portion of the statue a lot. The detail in the grooves of the belts moving up to where it connects the armor onto his leg is just amazing. It's just fantastic. And what's interesting is these gun holsters. Let me actually touch them. Are they leather? That's a good thing that I can't tell. They really look like tiny, tiny, tiny little leather pouches. So I'm very impressed with that. To trick my eye even this close up, that's saying something for sure. Moving along up, we have a solid midsection. And what's interesting is this is only one torso. There was an exclusive version that came with a different upper body. Now, I always swing for the exclusive version, but I felt that this one, while really cool and would have provided a lot more with even more head sculpts, this is the one I needed. This is the classic Jason Todd becoming Red Hood. This is the look that I wanted, and the other one wasn't for me, so I went with this one. And you know what? I think it looks fantastic, so I'm okay with that. Now, I gotta talk about, I said that the leather and texturing looked really good. That is the same deal here on his coat. It looks fantastic. His jacket. It's absolutely perfect. It looks like leather. Swinging in the breeze there. I like how it's kind of Fonzie-esque. It's hunched up by his mask. The paint on the arms looks incredibly lifelike and very much like actual skin. It does look really good. Now, I have to talk about the red used on the chest and the mask. The decision to make this glossy was brilliant. This sparkles from across the room. It really stands out and it looks really good. Now, I do have on the head sculpt that is my immediate favorite. Mine did come with 2 other head sculpts, and I think if you got the exclusive, there were even more awesome ones, but this one is hilariously the best one in my book. I like the weathering on it. I would have maybe preferred to have one that didn't have weathering, just as an option, but I just think it looks too amazing for words. So guys, we're going to go ahead and do something crazy. We're going to give the paint a full 10 out of 10. I'm also going to go ahead and give the sculpt also a 10 out of 10. I think the colors earn a very respectable 9 out of 10. The reason why it's so high is because of the mask. Really, the mask and the skin tones help it. However, the bottom half of this is a little bit dark and a little bit too similar of a tone, so that's the only knockoff. Alright, we got to talk about the design and pose, and I got to tell you, when I put this together, it fit like a glove. This thing was tighter than some of the sideshow pieces I've seen. This base isn't going anywhere. There's not even an inch of lean on this thing at all. I think I could rock this table. I'm not going to, and he would be sitting completely solidly, which is interesting because he's actually only being pegged in from the right foot. The other one's just kind of leaned up against the statue, but it works. It totally is solid as a rock. If you've watched my videos, the last probably 10 statues I've got in, some of them have had tiny little bit of lean issues, so it's like a new thing that I really look for. Is there lean? Yes, that's too bad. Is there lean? No? Awesome. So design's already doing really well for me. So for pose, the pose is a little tricky. You have to display him up high to get the effect that the artist clearly wanted to achieve, because he's kind of hunched over, looking down, and he's got a lot of height to him. To make him look commanding, it should look like it's up on a roof. So you do want to display this up high if you get this. It's definitely a bizarre pose in that it's very kind of like left heavy. I don't know what to say there. It kind of shifts to the side. Kind of interesting. I think it would look good next to my Huntress. I'm not sure. Kind of have to rearrange some things around here, especially since I sold a couple statues. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and give the pose an 8 out of 10. Well deserved. I also think it's really intelligent how, and I didn't even get all the switch outs because I didn't get the exclusive, but there's all these other switch outs that just work so perfectly and seamlessly, and I mean seamless. You can't see a single seam. So the design and your options here, it's just great because there's no seam lines anywhere. And that design's going to get the full 10. Alright, so now we got to talk about likeness and coolness. And I think we're not going to have any problem with either in that category. I think this is one of the cooler statues I own. The 2 handgun look, I think, is the coolest iteration of this. I also think that this one, my version, with this torso with the brown leather jacket, is probably the cooler version of the other option. And again, it did come with another option. This is just bleeding cool. Probably one of the coolest statues I have in the entire collection, so we'll skip ahead and we'll just flat out give the coolness a 10 out of 10. Now the likeness is also there. I mean, this clearly looks like Red Hood. I loved that storyline when it came out. What was that, 2005, 2006? Something like that. When Jason Todd, who I kind of wanted to stay dead, you know, I kind of liked that they never brought him back. Whatever. They brought him back, and it was an amazing story. And God, that's 16 years ago? Jeez. Anyway, it looks like how it looked in those first few issues where Red Hood was introduced. So I gotta give it to them. This is top-notch likeness. Definitely a full 10 out of 10. Alright, so we gotta talk about proportions. Sometimes this is my biggest pet peeve, because sometimes you can get ones that are overscaled. Like Prime 1 kind of has a problem with that. A lot of their quarter scales are a little too big. Sometimes when you have customs, you run into things being too small. This statue is perfect. The height's maybe a little big, but I knew that going in. I think it looks amazing. The only thing disproportionate on the whole piece is this hand right here is a little bit smaller than all the other hands that were provided. And I actually think it looks a little noticeable when I put it on there. But that's it. Everything else is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and give the proportions a 7 out of 10. I do have to knock it pretty hard for that hand issue. I do reserve a full 10 out of 10 for one that is 100% perfect. So now I got to talk about the price, and I think after shipping and everything, I paid $1,000 to get this guy here. The exclusive, I think, would have cost an extra $200, maybe $250, maybe $300 after shipping. I don't know. Plus there was a whole extra torso. I don't know how they would have shipped that. But $1,000 in, not bad. And again, I actually said I got a couple other pieces from this company that I got long before this one was announced, and those I have yet to really even have too many updates on them. So hopefully those get updated soon. But this one, I thought it was a good price. I'm sitting here with the product. I think it's really well done. I am so glad I have the orders with this company that I do. I think it is definitely expensive, but it is the right amount of quality for the price. And because of that, and the fact that it's customs should be more money, I'm going to give the price a solid 9 out of 10. Not bad, especially in today's market. The shipping price wasn't that bad either, which was really surprising, but I'm not going to question it. So guys, I think this one knocked it out of the park. I think this is going to be one of my favorite pieces ever. Thank you so much. It's been a long time since I've done a statue review, but thank you for indulging me. As always, guys, spin them around so you can get one last look. Keep on hunting.